Yo, yo, what's going on? I do have a hard out here in about 20 minutes, so we will make it quick. I just wanted to mention that I was on the Investors Underground YouTube channel for Sunday Scan, going over my main watches. Chris and I had a good back and forth there. Main watch being the China sector going into next week. He covered a lot of theme trades on the large cap side and the anchor side of it, like the stuff that's driving the moves. And then I covered a lot of the small cap names, which is where my eyes are focused. So I can go over it quickly here. I'd suggest going over to Investors Underground. I can post the link there in the chat. And you guys can go and watch it over there. I go in detail, but just to run through it quickly, let me go to my charts. And let me resize this. Should be good. So we'll run through this quickly, and then I will be out of here. If you're here live, we'll have a quick couple minutes for questions. But I do have to be out of here in a few minutes. I can't believe I got to join you live at a perfect time, I think. Yes. I got about 15-20 minutes to go over stuff. Check out the Investors Underground YouTube channel. I go deep dive and deep thoughts, and I do have a written portion. Let me see if I can find it here. Because I believe the written portion they put out on Sundays is free, and I did do a fair amount of due diligence on my end. So the way I would suggest is go through the video, and you'll see the names that I touch on, and then once you see the names that I touch on, then I do a nice deep dive in the written portion. Just finished your watch. Oh, cool, nice. And then that there, I just posted a link. That's for the written portion where I do write out my plans word for word. So if you're visual, the video helps, and if you're written, like to read stuff, then the written portion probably helps. So, anyways, enough of that. Going to main watches, obviously UXIN. I had this entry on one of these days back here, 230s. I scaled into it here in the 260s, and I was out all of it by $3. So it was a single for me, and then watching it go to 6 was painful, but it happens. I had the whole China theme aligning with the daily chart big picture breakout pattern I like to trade. And unfortunately, just minimize that one like crazy. But at this point, now that it's gone from 2 to 6, I'll be looking for an overextended first red day, and that'll be based on how the overall China sector trades going into Monday. If stuff wants to keep going, like it's all stemming from BABA, PDD, like they put out a big stimulus in China. So it's just similar to the COVID market. Now it's just all the China names going nuts. So something like UXIN, even if I'm looking for a first red day, it could set up like this again. If they keep printing and stimulus keeps going out, it could pull back, consolidate, set higher lows, and do something kind of like GIVO, where you get that move, pull back, and I'm looking for this pullback, and then it could do something like this and start to build. So it's not a bias, but it's honest work. Yeah, that's right. It ain't much, but it's honest work. So it could, my plan on it is just looking for that elastic trade. It's the meaner version. And then I won't hold a bias from there, let it set up for another daily chart pattern setup. So I'll be looking for an overextended first red day there. Duo, I am a bit cautious. It does have a history of one and dones, so I'm expecting this to retrace back to where it came from. The 4 EMA right now is sitting below $1 still. But if I look left here at the volume profile, a lot of the volume here is traded in this 110 to 120 range where it's still consolidating over. Because this day 2 gap up didn't have that exhaustion volume, kind of like CNE did when the volume keeps picking up on the gap ups. So if this starts to break below the 110s, I think this favors a fade down to 70, 80 cents. And that'll be my plan. I look for there, pops, and then a 110 confirm, and then get a nice 20 to 30 cent trade there. But if it continues to build over the 110s, 120s, then I believe shorts are more on the wrong side than longs are. I don't believe where it's trading right now has enough bag holders. So we'll see where it opens tomorrow. CNE was a trade for me from Friday into this looking left 9/11 chart. Into the 1-teens was the closing VWAP of this big volume day, and we got a nice shove off the open into there, exhausted a few times. You get a hard crack, lower high, retest of the 1-teens, and nice failed follow through setup. So that level is obviously key. So any pops back towards 97 was the key support, but any pops towards 1 to 110 as an exhaustion range, I like this for a fade back to like 60, 70 cents. There's a lot more people bagged here on this day 2 gapper than there is on Duo. NA, China name going parabolic relative to prior price action, history of massive dump moves. Volume's a bit on the lighter side, but if price action confirms, this could be something where I could put it on and let it work. Wouldn't be going crazy size, obviously, if it's only trading 3 million shares a day, but possible for a little single or a double. Looking for it to go red and opening range lows to confirm, and will be a theme trade if the overall sector is looking weak. LX, same kind of idea, opening range lows as a confirm, going parabolic relative to prior price action. This one here going from the 160s up to the 240s, and volume starting to increase. So ideally on this one, I get a gap up and a failed follow through setup. But if it doesn't come, I'll be looking for opening range lows and red to confirm. Same kind of setup as load. This was my main profit winner on Friday, where you get this gap, exhaustion gap in the morning. I was on the IU broadcast on Friday morning, and this was one of my main watches. And you get that shove right through pre-market highs. I'd put a starter on, covered it through high a day, and then once it hard crack lower high, I was scaling, and then I caught this dump and I covered it all down here in the mid to upper 50s. So nice 10-cent trade there. And then some other long watches. IMRX will be a watch for the week still, not really a plan for Monday. But I remember somebody saying that this was a higher low to prior lows, but I gave the contrary view of that, of it still in the lower highs trend where it hasn't confirmed over this 330 to 350 range. Yes, it's above the 220s, but it hasn't broken its hard crack lower highs. So as far as I'm concerned, this is still in a downtrend, but if it were to break above 330, something like GIVO, where you get this hard crack lower high, and this is kind of where I see IMRX right now, and it's either going to break below this low or break above these highs. So IMRX I see is right here. GIVO, I also like that one going into next week. A nice little perk out of this consolidation, has proven it can go on nice multi-day runs, dips down towards this 150 range, like for a bigger picture idea, and then that 180 breakout. So this one is a watch, and then IMRX looking for something similar. If it builds above 330s, possible long watch. If it breaks below 220s, I'd take it off, and I'd think it's dead. FTCI, if you've watched the last couple weeks of these scans, you'll know that I had this one as a main radar. Each time it tested this 58-cent range, it kept failing, and then Friday finally did something a bit different, and once it broke, it kept building above it. So I like all dips towards that 58 that build. Possible trend join tomorrow is notable. This other pre-market resistance up here in the 70s. So dips along the trend into this 58 to 60 range. I like selling into the 70s until it proves that it wants to go higher. Could be something like load where it breaks 40s and then you get this up day, and I'd look for like a multi-day move on something like that. A bit slower of a mover, but I think there is a possibility given how long this chart has taken to set up. So a few long watches there, and then a bunch of China names looking for overextension, failed follow-through type setups. So that's what I went over on the IU scan. So like I said, I suggest checking that one out. Chris and I had a good conversation. I appreciate the guys over there having me on. I like to help them out whenever I can. And I appreciate what they do for the community. So I like hopping on when I can. Anything else? I don't think so. I think that's about all I had to talk about this evening. Other than that, thank you guys for being here live, and anyone who tunes in later, I hope I provided you value where I can. Trade them well out there next week. I will see you tomorrow evening or in the Investors Underground chat room in the morning. Get in where you fit in, make some memories, and I'll see you guys in the room.